Hi everyone, my name is Tracy Bellion and I am the owner of Tracy's Fancy, which is a furniture and room design company. I'm here from San Antonio, Texas, and I'm so excited to be here today. You can find some of my work on Home Talk as Tracy's Fancy. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. I have a shop on Etsy, and I also have a weekly blog that I put out called traceysfancy.com. It's TraceysFancy.com. So thank you, Home Talk, for having me on today. Really excited. I'd love to know where all of you are watching from. So if you'll be sure and give us a comment and let us know where you're watching from and that you can see us, that would be great to know that we're not alone on here today. So I'm going to get right to the point here. We are going to dress up some old mirrors, 1970s, 1980s yucky mirrors, because I am a furniture refinisher. I come across a lot of mirrors that belong to dressers that people just don't want. And I've had stacks and stacks of them before, and I had tried to think of what I could do. I've done things like this where I've made signs, but not everyone can do this themselves as a DIY because they aren't comfortable with the freehand and the paint. So I thought, how about we turn some into chalkboards? So let's get started. This here is what we're gonna paint today. It's not pretty. It is an ugly old bedroom mirror. I believe there used to be two. In fact, there was two because I painted one. You might can see Elise in this picture. She's, and I'm not sure why the phone just rang. We did put it on Do Not Disturb, so we'll fix that. Anyway, we are going to revamp this mirror. So let's get started because we're going to be a little bit pushed for time. We're going to do this in about 30 minutes, okay? All right, slide this down. And super simple, right here, this is all that you need. You need a couple of colors of paint. We'll go more into detail about what type of paint in just a minute. You also need at least two paint brushes, something to pour your paint in, and some tape. So we're gonna get started with that tape right now. Today I'll be using this paint here called Heritage Collection. It's by a company named Heirloom Traditions Paint. They are a company that produces a wonderful chalk-based paint product, but they have just come out with this new paint, the Heritage Collection, that is revolutionary and absolutely amazing. And I will talk to you more about that while I'm taping here. Elise, did you swipe up maybe from the bottom to make sure that Do Not Disturb the moon is touched? Sorry guys. Okay, come up here. Awesome. Okay, anyway, normally when you use paint, a lot of people, the reason that you can't just go to Hobby Lobby, Home Goods, acrylic paint or latex paint, is you have to go to a lot of trouble with your surface. You would need to prime so that your paint would stick, otherwise it might just peel off, you know, just like peel right off and not adhere to your surface. So years ago, people started producing this chalk-based type paint that adheres to any surface. And it really does. It adheres to plastic and metal and glass. But the thing about chalk type paint is it has to be sealed. And if it isn't sealed, it will literally scratch right off like a piece of chalk, because that's what it is. It literally has chalk in it. So it will scratch right off and you have to seal it. You have to use either a wax or you have to use a sealer of some sort. And so there you are, you're talking primer, paint, and seal, which is 3 steps. So this paint that I'm going to show you today, I know some of you have probably already seen chalkboards be made, so that might not be that exciting to you. But I have some news here. This paint that I'm going to use, after we do all this prep work here with the tape on the mirror, we are literally going to paint the mirror with the paint, and we're going to paint the frame with the paint. We are not going to prime. It does not require a primer, and we are not going to seal it. It's crazy. It seals itself. It's got the sealer in it, and I'm telling you guys, it dries hard as nails. It's amazing. So that's why I chose to do this today. Thought it was a good, easy representation because obviously the paint that you're going to put on this glass, you want it to stick, but you also want it to be able to be used over and over and over like a chalkboard will be. So I'm going to continue with the taping here. Now the reason I'm taping is I am going to paint the frame one color and I'm going to paint the mirror another color. So I don't want to have to worry so much about, I can get paint on the mirror around the edges, but just like when you paint furniture or anything like that, you guys know that. You kind of want to tape off some areas. I'm not a big tape user, but with this one, it just makes it a lot easier. So I'm just kind of throwing some tape down here so I can be a little bit more sloppy when I'm painting the frame. Okay, almost done. Do we have anyone on here, Elise, today? Anyone commenting?
Yes, we do. We have quite a few people. They said, "Hi, Tracy, you're right. This paint is amazing." We have Sarah Ames watching from Maryland with us.
Awesome. So someone's commented that's already used it?
Yes.
Yay!
Carla Jones.
Oh, yes, Carla. Hi, Carla. I love Carla's from Florida.
Yeah.
Hi, Carla. How are you?
Yes.
I'm so glad you're on here with us today. Oh, we have a contest. We have a contest. I forgot about that. Okay, so Home Talk always has a contest. And the contest today is I want you to tell me what you would paint with some type of chalkboard type paint in your home. What surface? I mean, like one of the editors at Home Talk actually told me that she painted the side of her refrigerator with chalkboard type paint. So come up with something that you would paint, and we are going to choose what we think is a really great idea. Like I came up with this, you know, paint a mirror. We're going to give away this. We're going to give away 2 jars. You will get to choose your colors. It will be one color for the mirror, one color for the frame. These are 2 different grays, but you have a choice of 12 colors. And then you will also be getting this is a really, really nice brush by Heirloom Traditions Paint. It's a Syntec brush, and you use it for chalk type base paints. I believe the brush alone is like a value of like $50. So 2 jars of paint, and this we will give away at the end of the segment. So start with those comments, guys. Get them coming. And I am going to start painting. So I'm going to use a color called Cobblestone. So let me tell you a little bit about this paint. You have to stir it really, really well. I have used it already many, many times, and it works great. However, all of the properties that make it work great like to settle at the bottom of the paint. And so we need you to stir for at least a minute, 1 to 2 minutes. Give it a really good stir. I had already stirred this paint, but you just get in there and you want to stir it up really good.
We had a really interesting comment on here saying that somebody actually has used this paint for a microwave door. Have you ever done something like that before?
No. Did they make it, was it this type paint, or they made a chalkboard on a microwave door?
I think it was the chalk paint that they used to make their microwave door.
Word, no. I would not have thought of that. But you know, I don't really always want to see the inside of my microwave either. I don't know about y'all, but I think that's not a bad idea. Gives you something better to look at than what's really going on inside that microwave. Don't you hate it when you have someone come over and they're like, "Can I warm up my coffee?" You're like, don't look in my microwave. Okay, so what brush do I use? I'm ready to paint. Normally, I love this brush. This brush is one of my top 10 favorite tools that I use as a furniture painter. It is just, no specific brand, it's the size. It's about a 1-inch flat edge, really good brush to use. I don't have to use that though right now because I've taped off, so I don't have to be careful. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this brush right here, my Syntec brush. And the winner today will actually get this brush. All right, so we start laying the paint down. The thing about this paint is it levels itself. It has a self-leveler in it. It dries with very, very, very few brush marks, if any at all. It has a velvety sheen to it when it dries. So you want to put enough paint on there that it allows it to lay down. If you're just, you know, kind of rubbing it on there, I don't mean put a lot, but you don't want to smear it out where you can still see the wood through it really. You want to get it on there where it can kind of lay itself down. So when you're going around grooves like this, you want to kind of pounce your brush, kind of pounce to get all up in those grooves. Isn't this pretty? This color is called Cobblestone Gray. It's one of the most popular colors out of the line. The Heritage Collection line has 12 colors. They're like European style colors. They're more of a neutral. They actually do have a couple of blues and greens that are pretty bright that I really love because I'm more of a color girl. You'll see that at the very end. I'm going to show you a chalkboard that I did in a color called Amalfi, A-M-A-L-F-I, that they have, and it's just a gorgeous color. And I did a chalkboard with it, and I can't wait to show you guys. Home Chalk likes us to wait till the end to show our prize, you know, because they don't want you to leave us until the end. So I'll be showing you guys that at the end. So just keep laying down a good coat here, and this paint dries pretty fast. Usually if you start on one side of the project, by the time I finish the entire frame and get back to this point will already be dry for me again. But just in case, if it's not, and because we're a little short on time here, I have my trusty heat gun. I don't know if any of you have one of these. This one is by Wagner. Heat guns can be kind of dangerous. This gets really, really hot, but they don't blow out any air at all. So it's not like a blow dryer. If you're not familiar with them, they do not blow out air. They simply produce a really high wave of heat.
We have another question. Can you please rephrase what the paint is called? Somebody's asking us.
Yes, it is.
And I'll zoom in right here.
Okay, this paint is called Heritage Collection All-in-One Paint. But it is by the company called Heirloom Traditions. And if you'll go to heirloomtraditions.com, you will see the Heritage Collection is listed there on their website, and you'll be able to purchase there. They also are carrying this at the Do It Best hardware stores. So it's not in a large percentage of the Do It Best, but it will be in all of the Do It Best. But this is a very new product, you guys. It's just hitting the market.
And where can they buy this? Is it online or?
It's either online with Heirloom Traditions Paint. You can also contact Heirloom Traditions Paint because they have a few retailers that are carrying it in their stores, and then also the Do It Best hardwares. But I would call Do It Best first to see if they've gotten their shipment in yet or not. But for just to be safe, I'd order it online at Heirloom Traditions. So what's really exciting about the paint is not just this chalkboard. It is the fact that, I'm going to spin this a little bit, okay, so I can get to the bottom. This paint was a game changer for my company, my furniture painting company. Even though I'm kind of known, my reputation is for very whimsical and loud and kind of crazy, out of the norm, out of the box pieces. So you would think that I wouldn't use a lot of neutral colors such as this, but it changed the game for me for especially like painting people's kitchen cabinets. So I realized that there are so many of us out there that have those oak cabinets that were, you know, from the 80s and the 90s, and they're that orange oak, and they're so outdated now, and your kitchen may look fabulous, but no matter how much granite you put on it or how many appliances you change out, you can't get past those cabinets. So guess what, guys? This paint that will let you paint your kitchen cabinets. No primer, just put the paint on, a couple of coats, really usually just 2 coats, and you're done. You don't seal it. It cuts the time down even more than 50%. So, and it's very, very forgiving. For the first time painter, it's a very, very forgiving paint. So that's what's really exciting to me.
You have some really interesting ideas that people are wanting to do. People are talking about painting a wall in their playroom so their kids can draw all over it. Someone's talking about maybe doing it on their refrigerator so they can write notes to their husband so they don't forget to do things.
They're going to forget anyway. They're going to act like, they'll say, what chalkboard? What refrigerator? I didn't see that. Okay, so normally this paint would just dry on its own, But for purposes of the show today, I am running this heat gun on it, which just sucks the humidity out basically and dries it really, really fast, because I really want you guys to see, to be able to lay down a second coat somewhere on here so that you can see it. I actually did a chalk wall in a room. Actually, if you go to my blog at tracysfancy.com, I think I called it Playroom Mural. I think that's what it was called. But it's not really a chalk wall. It was just a faux chalk wall. The mom wanted it to look like a chalk wall, and then I did chalkboard art on it with paint. But when I was doing it, I thought this really would be a great idea to have an entire chalk wall. Another good thing about this paint is that a lot of times you'll use a chalkboard paint. If you've made a chalkboard before, you'll use it, and then when you go to write on the board and then you go to erase it, it leaves a lot of the dusty, dirty looking, it doesn't look clean. It never looks good again. It doesn't look like it did when you first finished it. So this paint does not do that. It wipes down with a damp cloth back to its original gorgeous velvety sheen. You do not have to have that dusty mess left. So if you did do a wall in a playroom or a kitchen, you don't have to look at that mess. Okay, so I have dried this here.
Hey, we just wanted to do a little reminder to make sure that everybody shares the video with somebody and sends us a little thumbs up our way. That way we get some good questions and
share the news. Okay, so I'm going to break out a new tool here while we're working on this frame. I guess I should show this. This is a sponge. I use the sponge all the time. I'm using a brand new one here for you. It's called the True Applicator Sponge. If you are going to paint your kitchen cabinets, if you're going to paint a piece of furniture, if you're going to paint a chalkboard, I suggest you order the sponge. It's $4, you guys. It's cheap. It is so cheap. And you can reuse it over and over. And I've probably used mine 20 times in a row. They hold up really well. It's also by Heirloom Traditions, and honestly, I painted that piece of furniture. Just to let you know, that little tidbit of information. Actually, I think it opens from this end. So, this is supposed to be wet, actually. But what I'm going to do here is put some paint on. You can paint with the sponge, but what I like to do is, it's supposed to be damp first. Sorry guys, I don't have any water here with me, so I'm just going to put a lot of paint on here. So what you want to do with this technique is go and just sort of pat your paint. Now, you don't have to do it like this. You can literally paint with it. And we will in just a little bit. We'll paint with the sponge on the surface. But you can do this, and then you go back and you kind of tap it, and it takes all the streaks out. And it leaves sort of a, can you see this? It leaves like a spongy, kind of bubbly, but do you see them popping? You see them pop? Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that.
A little bit.
You kind of see the bubbles popping. It's leveling out. The paint is literally laying itself down, and it takes all of the brush marks out of off the surface. So that's a little technique there for you.
We had a question about sand. Do you have to sand or prep or anything before you start painting?
No.
With this paint?
Not at all. This paint, that is the beauty of it. It is all in one. It says that on the label, all in one paint. It has a bonding primer in it, the paint, and the sealer. So you don't have to do anything. Just like we did. I didn't do anything to this mirror. I just started laying the paint down on it. And that's it. That's all we do.
And you have so many hearts coming across your screen because they are loving what you're doing.
Yes, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Okay, so we're going to move on so I can keep you interested here. So we've already done one coat here. I would like you to show them Elise. Let me hold this up a little bit for you. So here's 2 coats. Now can you move over here to 1 coat? That's 1 coat. You see the streaks?
Yes, we do.
So back over to 2 coats. Completely done. We would be done. We would paint the entire thing and we'd be finished, okay? So I'm going to pull up a finished product in a little bit, but we're going to paint the mirror first. This part's amazing to me. All right, so we've saved the glass from getting the light gray cobblestone color on. So now we're going to start taking off the tape because we're going to pretend that our mirror is completely painted with 2 coats, or that the frame is completely painted with 2 coats, even though it's not. I've shown you what 2 coats is going to look like though, so if you believe me, just pull your tape off. I think this is just 3M tape that I used. It's just a painter's tape. There's all kinds of painter's tape nowadays. I think this is just the 3M. That's what I tend to go to. So anyway, all right, so now we're going to use a dark color. You want to zoom in on that? This color is called Cathedral, and it's a dark gray. I went with all the grays because they're so super popular right now. So it's a dark gray. The frame will be in the light gray. I felt like the mirror needed to be a little bit darker, so when we do write on it with chalk, you know, you want it to be able to show up. So, here we go. Okay, so this time I'm going to pour a little bit in this bowl. You really should, this is another painter's tip, guys. Let me give you this little painter's tip. You really should not paint directly out of your jars. Does anyone know why?
No.
You want to answer?
Why?
Does anyone know why? You should not paint out of your jar, because this piece, even though I've cleaned it, you might take bacteria or dirt or grime or whatever from your brush back and forth into your jar. You're just taking it back and forth into your jar. So you're not gonna, your paint isn't gonna keep as long for you. So if you pour it into a bowl, it'll keep for you a lot better. How we doing, guys? Any more comments about what you would paint? Anything else, Elise, that you've seen besides like the microwave?
I've seen a lot of kitchen cabinets. They're really coffee tables, a bunch of old antique things they want to refinish.
Yes. To write on is chalkboard because they just want to, because they like the paint.
And someone said an old gramophone. They just want to do all kinds of things with this paint.
Old one that you put the thing up to your ear?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. My grandmother had one of those. Okay, well, guys, don't forget about the contest. So far, in my opinion, I'm liking the microwave door. So don't forget to comment about that and tell me where you're watching from. I want to hear someone really far away from San Antonio, Texas.
Oh, we got some from Africa, Canada, Denmark. Yes.
Tell me. That's awesome. Africa.
Yes.
Okay, so let me get started here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little painting technique. Okay, guys, this is just another little tip. When I'm going to paint this mirror actually with the sponge, but I can't get up close to the edges with the sponge. So what I'm going to do is bring in my little artist brush, and I'm going to go right up next to the edge. You can use tape and tape off if you want to, but you don't have to. Just get a nice, smooth, even stroke going along the edge. And then when you get up in these little corners, can you see this roll out, Elise?
Yes.
Okay, so as I smear this paint, because remember, I'm on a glass surface. Now, does this make you crazy, you guys? Can you believe that I'm painting right on the surface of a mirror? I mean, it's crazy, and it's really seriously going to hold up for a long time as a chalkboard.
Is this paint easy to clean? People are wondering
very good question, you guys. Okay, as long as if you're doing your kitchen cabinets or a big piece of furniture, you should wear gloves. If you let this paint dry on you, because it has such a good adherence to things, it's going to dry on your skin and it's not coming off. I mean, I've had to wear it for like a week. So you should wear gloves. As far as your brushes, it cleans out just fine as long as you haven't let any of it start to dry in your brush. It washed right out with soap and water. But once it starts to dry, you aren't going to get it off. So it does clean up easy as long as you're diligent about when you're going to do your cleanup, okay? So that's the best I can say. Okay, my little tip to you guys wasn't about the brush. Watch this. I don't want my lines going this way and all this goopy stuff. So I'm going to do what's called a feather technique. I go back up in here. See the straight line that went like that? I want it to go this way because I know I'm going to eventually be going up and down the mirror with my sponge, right? So you go up here and you grab the paint and you feather it out like this. Feather it out. You can do this really on any surface that you're having to paint up against an edge. When you know that you're painting this direction, but up here you had to go this way. You always want to go back up to the top and feather it out like this, okay?
You got some more really good ideas with chalk paint. Somebody painted an old piano, and somebody's considering doing the sides of their toaster.
Oh my gosh. A piano?
And a KitchenAid mixer. So everybody's loving the kitchen supplies.
We're going to have a hard time deciding. Okay, so I'm just going to continue this feathering out process here. Let me move the bowl so you can see. Feathering out this way, and then you just kind of push it off like that. Okay, so that gets all of our strokes moving in that direction. So I'm going to spin this, Elise.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm kind of new to Home Talk. I actually do have a Home Talk profile, Tracy's Fancy on Home Talk, and I like it. I've put several blogs on there. It's kind of funny because I do paint furniture. You know, I've got a lot of love, and I got a lot of hate. But us furniture painters, we're used to that. But Home Talk, there's a lot of antique lovers on there. Oh my gosh, and I feel like I'm abusing small children or something. That sounds terrible, but I'm like, guys, it's okay. I get it. But look at this. Like this, for instance, this mirror. It seriously was going to be thrown in the dump. I mean, the people that I paint the dressers for, they don't want the mirrors, and they just say, no, I don't want them, and then I have a warehouse full of them, and you have to, you have to be able to come up with ways that you can bring things back out into your home and love them. I mean, so many of the pieces of furniture were out like under sheds with rain damage, and if you can find those and make them pretty and bring them back out into your home, I just think it's okay.
We have... Okay, awesome. We have several people asking about the sponge again, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on the package so that way they can give some answers, but if you want to talk about it still while you're painting.
Let me talk about the sponge because I'm about to use that right now, actually. It's called the True Applicator Sponge, and it's produced by Heirloom Traditions Paint. I believe they have the patent on it even. We are going to use that here. It is literally made to reduce brush strokes. That's what it's made for. A lot of people started doing their own DIY, and they were not liking the brush strokes, and that's a drawback to a lot of people.
Can you ask if anybody's ever painted with a sponge? We want to get some feedback from that.
Has anyone used this? Anyone watching right now how about any of our Heirloom Tradition followers? Has anyone used this? Any of my Tracy's Fancy followers used a sponge before? Let me show you how it works, guys. It's got these slits in it. You see that? So you can pull it up. So when I was painting with this side, I pulled it out, and it holds like a handle, and it literally leaves this flat so that you still get a nice big flat smooth surface. Well, I don't have water over here, and I don't want to take the time to go wash this out, so I'm going to use the other color. So I'm going to turn it over, fold that up, and I'm going to use this side right now. Okay, so literally I'm going to pour my paint on here, and then I'm just going to smear this on. Now, if I'm using this big sponge, I'm obviously not going to have brush strokes, right? So we don't have to worry about brush strokes. Up here, my feathering, I just went over it. You can kind of go any direction. Now, I will tell you, this is the first coat. It's a nice solid coat. This will require 2 coats, no doubt. But this little sample size jar that we're using, this size chalkboard, you could probably paint, you could paint a small chest of drawers in this size paint. This would probably make 20 or 30 chalkboards minimum. I mean, it goes a really long way. Okay.
Awesome. It looks like lots of people use this sponges while they're painting.
Yay, good. See that? See that? Now, you can do the same thing that I did earlier. You can do like a pounce. Because even the sponge leaves a little bit of a movement. So you can do this pounce motion, and it kind of leaves those bubbles again, and then those bubbles pop as they level out. They literally will just pop and go away, and you will end up with a nice feathery finish. Nice velvet finish is what I meant to say. I don't know why I said feathery. Okay, so let me hold this up for you so that you can see. It looks, I mean, obviously it's not finished, but this is just one scratch coat. All we've done here, we actually have 2 coats of the light gray on this side versus 1 coat on that side. You can see the difference. It shows you the difference. We didn't prime it, we didn't seal it. When this dries, you will be able to take a screwdriver and gouge it, and you will not break through the surface of that paint. It's amazing. It needs about a good 48 hours to really cure and harden. It hardens like glass. And then we have the dark color here called Cathedral, and we put 1 coat on. I would advise to put 2 coats on, and that's where it takes us to the next step. Because I believe, are we already 30 minutes into our video?
Yes, but you're doing so awesome, so we're not worried about time right now.
Oh,
so
good. Okay.
Everybody's just loving you so much.
Oh my gosh, okay. So, excuse the cumbersomeness of this, but we're gonna move this aside. And I'm gonna bring up a finished piece for you. Okay, so again, I'm gonna show you 3 different color combinations today. We did the light gray, which is cobblestone, and the Cathedral in the dark gray. The finished mirror that was the sister to that mirror is right here. Voila! Ta-da! What you think?
Let's have people comment on their favorite color combo.
Okay, that'd be great. So I want to see some hearts, guys. Do y'all like this?
Oh yes, we're seeing
can
hearts
see the
and
whole
thumbs.
thing?
Yes, they can.
They can see the whole thing?
I'm going to
Okay.
zoom in a little up here so they can see this a little closer.
So these colors are actually, this is called ironstone, and it's the black, and I mean, guys, it's like a black velvet. It's so beautiful. And I don't know if Elise can get close enough to show, but it really doesn't have, there's no brush marks. It's super, super, super smooth. Just by the same technique that I showed you how to do a minute ago. So, I obviously added a little artwork to this one. I did the checkerboard. I'm kind of known for checkerboard and stripes. And I kind of put gold on everything. I like very whimsical things. So, this is no different than what we just did. 2 coats, let dry. That's it. So, what colors do we have there? It's these 2. The black, and it's kind of an ivory, and it's called Manor House and Iron Gate Manor House. Okay, and the black up here, the checks, I also did in the Iron Gate, and the gold is just a metallic gold craft paint that I got at Hobby Lobby that I just put on my finger, and I literally just rub it. I rub it around on the edges.
Everybody's loving the checker. They think it's awesome for their kitchen, and that is what they're so excited about.
Oh, I'm so glad. That's just my style. I'm my favorite furniture designer, obviously, is Mackenzie Childs, and I've also been an Alice in Wonderland freak forever. So anything that, life is just too serious, I feel like, and so stressful, and you know, we're all trying to be a mom, and we're trying to run a business or work, and sometimes we just need a little whimsy in our life, and I like that. So thank you. It's super easy. I don't use a ruler, guys, or anything. And we can do that again on another home talk. We can come back and talk about patterns.
Good. Maybe we can talk about that awesome sign everybody's talking about behind you. They love that.
The other thing is, this was like off of an old vanity, that the vanity was missing, but we have this mirror and it was broken. So this is literally the board that was behind the mirror, and I painted it and did that sign, and it's kind of the beginning of the chalkboard thing. Okay, so back to the chalkboard. We're going to season this. If you do make a chalkboard, guys, whether it's a refrigerator or your wall or anything, you always have to what's called season your chalkboard. The reason you have to do this is this chalk type paint is porous, and and if you just write on here, it will burn the image into it forever. So you have to season it with a little bit of chalk first. So I don't know if y'all have seen this done before, but this is just a regular piece of chalk. It's from the grocery store. And you take it like this and you run it up and down all over your dry paint.
You have so many interesting questions. Somebody had a question to think if they could do this on a countertop. Do you know if that's a possibility or?
Well, no, I wouldn't make a chalkboard on the, well, I guess you could, but yes, you can use this paint on a countertop. You can use this paint on a front door. You can use it on outside shutters. Yeah, you could if you wanted to. I mean, I never thought about a chalkboard countertop, but I think maybe they're just asking if they can use the paint. My very best friend, her name is Paige McClanahan. Oh, one of my very best friends. Sorry, Sherry Riles and Paige McClanahan. Paige McClanahan lives in Florida, and she just ordered this exact paint in these two exact colors that we did. These two colors right here, and she did her countertop in the paint, and she loves it. Okay, so you've seasoned it. You then want to take a dry rag. This doesn't have any dampness to it. You take a dry rag and you want to rub it in. You want to rub that chalk into the paint. Like this. So now you know it's not as black as it was, but it's seasoned. Then you erase it. And with this chalk type paint, you erase with a damp cloth. Now we're taking it back to what it was, and it will dry almost 99% as dark as it was to begin with, and it's seasoned now. Okay.
Somebody's asking about the paint again, so I'm just going to go ahead and zoom in on it real fast while you keep.
Can you see the label really well?
Yes, we can. It's perfect.
Okay, so I have seasoned my paint, and I'm going to dry it here with the dryer. And we're going to play a little bit. I don't know if y'all want to do, does anyone want to see a little bit of chalkboard writing? Do you want me to talk about that a little bit? I guess we could do that in another home talk, but I have time. If y'all have time, what do you think? What does home talk say?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, let's do a little chalkboard writing. Yeah,
okay.
Let's see it.
All right, so we're dry now. So let me show you something that I ordered. This, I don't have any affiliation with this at all, but I started getting so many orders for chalkboards and to come out to people's homes and do chalk walls that I ordered this book. I got it off of Amazon. It says it's by, you can look at it here. It says Valerie McKeon. I just thought it was adorable. And it has just pages and pages of lettering and ideas. And so if this is something that interests you, there's all kinds of books on Amazon, but this one I thought was the cutest and had the best information. So you can look into that.
Awesome. Everybody's really excited to see you write on this chalkboard.
Okay, so here's just a regular piece of chalk. I have to turn this a little bit, y'all, so I can get to it. Should we do home talk? Should we do home talk real big?
Yes.
Maybe I'll do it right here. Okay, so let me give you a little hint, okay? I'm gonna go like this, okay? So I'm gonna write home talk. I'm gonna write in script. I know that you've all seen this script right now. So you write just like you would. We may just do home. I went kind of big. Just like you learned to write in school, okay? Then you want to go everywhere that is a downstroke. Every time you've gone up, you leave it the same. But if you went down, you want to fatten it. So this downstroke, we're fattening it. Does that make sense? This H went up, but then you went down. So here, we want to fatten it. How's that? Isn't that simple, you guys? It's so easy. So here's the O. You want to start at the top. You went down, so you only fatten that side. As you start going up, you go back to the single line. Same thing here. You went down, you fatten it. This one you went down, you fatten it. This is so simple, you guys. I know. I'm trying to think of all the people around the world that tonight are going to be doing this on a doodle pad.
Oh, yeah.
I want those people in Africa to show me that they're doing this on a doodle pad tonight. Here's my E. I went up. Here's my downstroke. You just fatten it out. You just make a second line, and that's it, y'all. Then you go back up in here Where's that smaller piece of chalk that I had?
Let's get some comments on who's going to be writing on their doodle pads tonight. We would love to hear some feedback.
So, do we have any hearts? Is anyone liking this?
Oh yes, you have hearts and thumbs
Yay,
going all
good,
over.
Good. Okay, so see this? We wrote home. Just that easy. So you only want to fill in your fat part. You just want to fill it in with your chalk. Look at that. Look how cool that looks.
We have a question. Did you learn how to do this writing and the technique from the book that you were recommending?
I did not, but they have it in there, and I made sure, when I researched the book, I made sure that it had that in there so that if I did recommend it, that I was recommending this. And you also can find how to do this on Pinterest. I'm sure people have done home talk videos on it. I'm assuming they probably have. It's pretty popular. I would just call it hand lettering. If you want to search for it on Home Talk, just search for hand lettering. And I am going to be doing a hand lettering blog tutorial on my website also. So y'all be sure and jump over and see me on Facebook, Tracy's Fancy on Facebook, and also on Instagram. I'm very active on social media. I would love to see you guys there. And my website also, there's tons of, if you like whimsical furniture and you like those checks, go check out my furniture. You will like it. I'm very blessed to have lots of customers who like whimsical things. Okay, so oh wait, I didn't do that. Oh, so I'm going to hold this up and let Elise stand back.
Also, people are asking, can you fill in with different colors?
Yes, you can. And there's all types of highlighting. So let me hold this up. Elise, can you stand back just a little?
Yes.
Now, all I did is I wrote the word home, just like you see written in elementary school. And then you just double your downstroke. Double your downstroke, fill it in. Another thing you can do to add highlight to areas is you just can go along and you just do that.
Home Talk actually just shared a video with y'all to fake calligraphy to help y'all with some of these techniques.
That's awesome.
So they can definitely check that out.
I knew someone had done it on Home Talk for sure. I knew it had to be. So anyway, that's that. But I'm going to show you one more thing before we go, okay? One more thing. It's another finished board that I had done. And the two other colors of paint. And another idea for people who don't like their own handwriting. I'm going to show you this option. So I'll be right back. Hold on. I can't wait to show you this one. This one is on my Home Talk blog. It's on the Home Talk tutorial already. So if you want to see step by step, look me up on Home Talk and you will see this. Show me some love.
Yes, how many people love this option?
Lots of love.
Yep, we're getting lots of love.
Good. This is the same paint, you guys. Let me show you. So the winner today, maybe you want to choose this. This color is Amalfi, A-M-A-L-F-I-E. Can you imagine this done on kitchen cabinets? I think it would be fabulous. So that's the color right there. It's a gorgeous ocean blue. And then I used this color as cashmere, which is the white. So I whipped this one up for you, but what I'm going to show you is a couple of options. So these little boogers right here, if you're not comfortable drawing a cupcake or writing the word cupcake, and you want to use letters that look like this because you're not comfortable with your handwriting, this company has come out with stamps. They're individual letters, and there's something called liquid chalk. Oh, where is it? Here it is. Martha Stewart makes this. It's liquid chalk. Liquid chalk. I literally shook this up. Oops. I really feel like this is important because I think there's a lot of people that aren't confident enough with their hand lettering, and I just feel like that there are so many. This company is called, well, this is by Prima, but I got it from IOD, Iron Orchid Designs, and these are stamps, and they have all sorts of letters, but this has a little sponge tip on it, so you just wet it. And I literally just put this down and sponged like that, put the liquid chalk on there, I'm gonna mess this up, but watch. You just put it down and you press it. And it literally makes a stamp.
Awesome. You're getting lots of love.
Yeah, isn't that cool? And so everything on here, it's a little bit lighter, I will be honest. The liquid chalk dries lighter than, this is regular chalk. This is liquid chalk. You see it's a little bit lighter.
Yes.
But this crown stamp, all of this detail, all of this border was all done with these IOD stamps. And I did it just to show those that might want to do a chalkboard, but they're not comfortable drawing themselves, that you can buy stamps to do this. Okay, I don't really want to do this, but are you ready? There we go. It's erased. Do you see it written on there? You don't. I seasoned my board first by coloring chalk all over it, wipe it down with a dry cloth, wipe it off with a wet cloth, you've got a beautiful surface. Now, do the stamps come off? They do, but it takes a little bit more work, and they may not come off tonight. So,
we have a little fun fact. The awesome Heirloom Traditions actually has done a talk show live too, so
yes,
that's awesome.
I think they've done 2 Home Talk Lives already, I think, with this paint. They show how to do kitchen cabinets with it. So maybe Home Talk can share that link under this video. So
everybody's sad you erased your beautiful work.
I know, but you know what? I'm glad I did, because I just learned that even though this Martha Stewart liquid chalk says big as day, erasable liquid chalk, it didn't erase. And it's been on here. I probably did it 2 weeks ago. I mean, I think, okay, let me be nice to Martha. Let's be nice to Martha. It's coming off. Sorry, Martha. Okay, it does come off. It just doesn't wipe off as well, as easily as the chalk. So I guess you kind of maybe need to get it wet and let it sit for a little bit. But it will wipe off eventually. And you know what, guys? The chalkboard was so easy to paint. If you use stamps for a big party because you're doing a wedding or something like that, and you want to put stamps on it, and then you can't get it off all the way, just get yourself some paint and slap another coat on there. It's no big deal. Let it dry, season it, and do it again. So, I think that's it. Are we done? We need to choose a winner, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Does Home Talk have a winner? While they're deciding on the winner for our for our chalkboard kit, I just want to remind you guys that Home Talk has its next live is this coming Sunday, I believe at 7:00 p.m. Make sure that you push the subscribe button at the end of this broadcast. If you'll push the subscribe button, that way you're sure to get notifications and alerts when the next Home Talk Live is going to be available. And we have a winner. Thanks you guys so much again. Tracy Bellion from Tracy's Fancy. I very, very much appreciate you guys being here today. And Elise, who's our winner?
Our winner is Jennifer, and she's the one who commented about using chalk paint on her old piano. That's so creative.
I love that. Do we know where Jennifer's from? They say?
Do we know where Jennifer's from? No.
Congratulations, Jennifer. Home Talk will be in touch. And and Jennifer, you'll let us know, please, when they contact you, what colors you would like of the Heritage paint.
Jennifer is actually from Pennsylvania.
From Pennsylvania.
So,
that's
yay.
Wonderful. Congratulations. Thanks, everybody, for staying with us. Elise, thank you for filming. This was so much fun. And thank you, Home Talk. And we'll see you again on Sunday at 7:00. Bye-bye.